What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video here. Got a special guest on here, Michael Burns. He's a lender that I work with, really good friend of mine as well. And we're going to be jumping into this, talking a little bit about interest rates, talking about the market, where it's going, what's happening, and just overall what we're expecting to see in 2022. Do you think that's a big driver of why we've seen prices go up so much? Is because basically since 2018, rates have been low, and then COVID hit and rates, I believe, dropped again. At least mortgage rates did.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing FHA loans at 2.25% on a 30-year fixed loan, 2.35%. It's crazy. Yeah. They're up a point from there, but the majority of people, when we're looking at people want to get pre-approved. Everything is based on, there's a couple of parts of this. Like, one is a minimum credit score, but really what dictates how much people get approved for is called the monthly debt to income ratio. So that's what's going to dictate how much you get approved for. So the rates are going to affect what that is with how much your debt to income is.
That's good information. I was just thinking, about interest rates and kind of how they've affected prices overall, because I think that's been a big driver over the last couple of years, why rates have, there's been a lot of pent up demand here in Salt Lake and Utah overall, people wanting to get into the market. And then with COVID and interest rates, just a lot of things kind of came together all at the right time. And that's what pushed prices up. I think it was like 38% over the last 2 years.
Yeah. So with the debt to income ratio, so when you can have that's how you find out what someone's maximum approval amount is going to be. But what I was saying is the majority of our clients are everyone, and you probably noticed this with your buyers too, Cody, is the majority of people aren't qualified for 500,000 and they're saying, okay, I'm going to shop in the 400, 450 range. People are basically going to the top all the time. So any sort of movement in that. So when rates are lower right now and it's anticipated that they're going to go up. So if you're a buyer that's pre-approved right now for say 450,000, you're kind of in that median price point in Salt Lake, and in the back of your mind, you're hearing the interest rate thing's going to happen. And if interest rates go up 0.5% or 0.25%, well, now my 450 approval, maybe that drops to 425 or 400,000. So right now, I think we're seeing a frenzy of that going on, and that's why people are wanting to jump in the market. But with rates being as low as they have been, people have really been able to stretch their dollar. And I think that's, what's continue to drive the prices up, especially in that entry level price point.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Claudette, I got a question for you. You asked what is the average percent over asking that homes sell for? This information here is for single family homes only in Salt Lake County, Utah County, and Davis County. So it's kind of the main metro mark here. For these three counties, January of 2022, we saw that it sold for roughly 102% of the ask price. So basically 2% over. Median sales price of $560. The median list price was right here at $550. So 2% over. If we look back, it has been lower. November, December, it was a little bit lower, 100% and 101. But if we go back here and kind of looked at what happened as we came out of winter last year, it's a lot of the same information. January was 102, February 103, and then it jumps drastically going into March, April, May, even June. 107, 105, 106. It jumps up pretty drastically. So if you're looking at housing in the spring or summer, definitely expect to be paying quite a bit over ask price. And then it does kind of settle down again as you move into the fall months. You can see here that this is it kind of slowly decreases here. So I expect that same thing to happen. Who knows what will actually happen, but based on all the indicators are kind of pointing to that same kind of market cycle on a 12-month calendar. I think we'll see a lot of the same exact stuff. Jonathan, you got a question here. You're moving in September. When should you really start looking at houses? So it's always a good idea to reach out to myself, and sometimes I'll even connect you with somebody like Michael early on, even if it's 6 months out, just to have a conversation, because I think having a conversation at least gets the ball rolling and gives you a better idea of where you're at in the process and kind of what the next steps are that you need to take. Probably about 2 to 3 months before you actually are making the move here. If you want to move directly into your house when you get here, you're going to want to start about 2 to 3 months before you actually make that move. everybody's situation is a little bit different, but generally about 2 to 3 months is an ideal time frame.
And to add to that, like once you find a house and your offer is accepted, I mean, we can close stuff as fast as 2 weeks, but your traditional closing timeline is going to be 30 days. So even from the time you secure a house, you're probably looking at another 30 days to go through the closing process, inspections, appraisals, underwriting, all of that stuff. It's really good. You want to get your agent locked in and stuff. And what's cool about Cody and I is we work so closely together with a lot of our clients. The communication is there.
Aiden, you've got a question about property managers. I manage all my stuff myself. I believe Michael manages most of his properties. Is that right? You still self-manage all the stuff? So we both self-manage. We've got access to, we obviously know property managers. There's a couple good ones that I like. I've just talked to employees or the owners of the company and like them as people, which I think is that goes a long way when it comes to property managers. So I would the two places I'd look at would be Key Renter. I've talked to a couple guys over there. I think they've got a pretty solid operation. I've heard of other people working with them and they like it. So Key Renter, and then Pineapple Property Group is another one that I've talked to the owners over there and they seem like solid guys. So I've not worked with them personally because I self-manage all my rental units and Michael does as well. But yeah, do you have anything to add to that, Michael?
Rise Property Management is a real big management group here in the Salt Lake area that does a good job. I also like them because the owners own real estate themselves. So it's always nice when you're working with a property management company, whether they're big or small, like do they have their own assets that they're managing? Because it's just because they understand what it's like, to have a property versus that can't relate to like having an investment property. So I like to work with people who are owners themselves, because I just think there's a different level of understanding.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to pay for property management anyway, you might as well just get the best you can, right? Like I saw a quote today. I've seen it before, but if you think hiring professionals is expensive, wait until you hire an amateur. So yeah, I agree. You get what you pay for, and just something to kind of keep in mind. You want a house hack, a fourplex? Any tips on getting a good deal would be awesome. Yeah, the market is really competitive and prices are high. So I mean, just expect that. The last fourplex I saw a pretty decent one come up in West Valley, but I mean, they still wanted $950 for it. It's kind of crazy asking $950. Rents have gone up a lot. I think I've been telling a lot of my investor clients, I think rents are going to jump up drastically this year. They already started. Prices have gone up so much that there's a lot of people who are priced out of buying a house and they're forced to rent, or there's just a housing shortage in general. So, anytime something comes up, people are willing to pay a higher rent amount for that place. So I expect rents to be, going up, which will be good if you're buying investment property. You might have to wait a couple of years before you start cash flowing a good amount, but to get into a fourplex, it's tough. You just have to be ready to pull the trigger. You have to know your numbers. And when a deal comes up, you got to be ready to jump on it and go all in.
Yeah, no, 100%, because investors can't compete with someone who's going to live there. And Aiden, that's really cool that you're looking at that. Buying, and if you have any questions on the financing, we can talk to you about that. But when you utilize your first like FHA loan, or you can go conventional too, but when you can grab a 4-unit property that you're going to live in, and then obviously you won't live there forever, and then you convert that into a rental property, because you're buying it owner occupied, the down payment requirement is a lot lower. It's a lot easier to qualify and get into that as well. And then that's also why you're just going to be in a position to where you don't have to have the same property performance that say someone who's buying it as an investment property, and they have to have certain debt coverage ratios and things like that. So it's a great advantage that you have in the market, even though it's an extremely competitive market. When you're looking at a multifamily situation, you're going to live there yourself. You actually have the advantage, I think, in a hot market.
Aiden, real quick, I was just looking at the question. If this is like your first property, I would even recommend self-managing. You asked about property managers. I'd recommend self-managing while you're living there, at least for the first year or two, just to kind of get familiar with what that entails. I think it's a really good learning experience, and yeah, it's extra work, but you're going to save the money on a property manager, and you're going to learn a lot. So I think it's a good thing. K-Jax, how bad has the inversion been in the last 2 weeks? That's a good question. Go for it, Michael.
It cleared up. It cleared up yesterday. I see it all the time because I kind of live on the East Bench and I have a view of everything. But and those of you who aren't familiar with inversion or Utah, Salt Lake's like a big bowl because we got mountains on the east side and mountains on the west side. So what happens is some of the air will kind of come in and settle down, and then we need a storm or something to come blow it out. So we just get like pollution or smog. Essentially, you just get this film. But it can get pretty bad in the winters, and that's the downside to Utah growing as much as it is, and the amount of just pollution and stuff that naturally comes with that. I think that's definitely probably a concern for the state moving forward.
Absolutely. I was just looking on my phone. Air quality says it's 35. I don't know what that means, but it says it's good. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. If you're thinking about making a move here to Utah, make sure to reach out, call, text, or email anytime. I'd love to chat with you about the type of home and lifestyle that you're looking for. As always, you can find my information on any of my videos. Once you get to the financing side of things, there's a really, really good chance you're going to be talking to Michael. So you'll be talking with both of us throughout the process, and we'd love to help you. We've helped people from all over make that move here. So if you're already living here and you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, reach out to me. I love working all three aspects of it and would love to help you as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.